Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time is kind of a crazy one, kind of a funny one. Either way, yeah, let's just jump into it. So today's story time all starts off as a regular day in 2017. Now, at this point, I was living in LA. I had fully moved out there. I had my apartment out there, just chilling, enjoying my life out there. And I remember on this specific day, I was pretty excited because I was going to my friend's birthday party on this night. It was my friend's, I think, 19th birthday, I believe, and it was going to be like at this big rented house. He got this big Airbnb for it. He hired security. He invited like 200 people. It was going to be like just a huge, fun thing. Little did I know I was about to have one of the weirdest encounters of my life, I would say. So 6 p.m. rolls around. The party started at 7:30, so I started getting ready at 6. I took a shower, got dressed. Went to the store quick across the street, got my friend a little gift card. I got him one of those $100 visas because why not? He didn't say that we had to bring gifts, but I want to be a good homie. I want to get him something. So I got him a $100 visa and a little birthday card. After this, I proceeded to get an Uber and go to my homie's house. I arrive at his house. I walk inside. The party was just starting, so there was not a lot of people there yet. I was actually one of the first. And I'd say about the first hour, 2 hours of the party, it was great. Very chill, not a lot of people there. Then at about 2 hours, it started getting pretty crowded. I'd say at this point it was almost full capacity, probably 120 people, 150 maybe. I don't know. He invited 200, and you can't expect all 200 to show up. So I'd say, 120, 150 were probably there, right? I mean, with plus ones, maybe even more. There could have been 200 people for all I know. All I know is that the fucking house was packed. People were basically flooding out onto the streets in the backyard. And it gave me kind of a Project X vibe. And I love that movie, so I kind of felt kind of cool. I can't lie. It felt awesome. It was just a cool party, and it wasn't cringe. It was a fun time. But just like the movie Project X, I noticed something about 2.5 hours into the party. I was in the backyard, and I was smoking a blunt with my friend. And in the backyard, in the very, very back, right where the fire pit was, where people were hanging out just by the bonfire, I noticed this very old man. Not a couple years older than us, not 30s, 40s. I'm talking 50s, 60s, old man at our party. I remember looking at my friend who I was hanging out with in the backyard. Let's just call him Dylan. I was like, yo, Dylan, do you know that guy over there? That old guy? He's like, bro, I was just about to ask you the same question. Who the fuck's dad is that? I'm like, dad? More like fucking grandpa, bro. Someone escaped the nursing home. He's over here at the party, shitting his diaper at the bonfire. What the fuck's going on? And my friend starts cracking up. And I was like, I'm just fucking around. I don't mean it. But for real, who is that guy? He seems a little bit old to be hanging out with a bunch of 18 to 20-year-olds. And he's like, I have no idea, bro. I'm going to start asking around. I want to know. So me and my friends split up, and we went around asking people we knew at the party, and even people we didn't know, if they knew this guy. And nobody had an answer, and they were all saying the same thing. They were all like, nah, we don't know him. Do you know him? Because we're trying to figure it out too. And nobody could figure it out. I even asked my friend, the person that was throwing the party, who that guy was. I was like, yo, who is that? Did you invite him? He's like, no, bro. He must be somebody's plus one. I don't know. I'm not going to question it, though. He's not hurting anybody. And I'm like, yeah, but, don't you think it's kind of weird? He's probably, pushing his 60s, and he's at the bonfire with a bunch of 18 to 20-year-old girls. It's just weird. It kind of skeeved me out a bit. And he was like, yeah, man, I mean, I get it, but I don't see him talking to any of the girls in, a flirtatious way. I think he's just hanging out, smoking weed, and that's fine by me. And I'm like, all right, man, it's your party, whatever. So fast forward about 30 minutes later, I decided to get to know this guy. So I walked over to the fire. I sit down. He's sitting there. And I ask him, I'm like, hey, man, how do you know Jacob? Jacob was the one that was throwing the birthday party and the one whose birthday it was. And he goes, oh, I'm Sam's dad. Sam was Jacob's friend. So that confirmed it. This was somebody's dad at a teenager to 20-year-old party. Which was kind of crazy to me. Usually, the dads don't want to stick around and hang out, but this guy did. And he was just straight up smoking a blunt at this bonfire. And the more and more I talked to him, the more ridiculous I realized this guy was. He was not your average father. This man was a party animal. I'm not going to go into certain specifics too much here, but this dude, in the fucking 10-minute span that I was talking to him, I watched him take down a whole blunt, a whole drink, and then after that, another drink, and then another blunt he lit up. So I'm like, yo, this dude's crazy. So I asked him, I was like, I gotta ask, man, how old are you? He goes, you mean how young am I? And I was like, yeah, how young are you? He goes, I'm 59. And I'm like, holy shit. He goes, that's not the reaction I wanted. I'm like, yeah, but like, bro, you're 59 and you're just like chilling here with all of us. It's just crazy to me. He's like, hey, man, I got nothing else going on tonight. And then right after he says that, this guy walks over who I've never seen before a day in my life. Probably like, 22, 23 years old. Like, looks pretty young. And he has a double cup in his hand. And obviously, we all know what was in that double cup, all right? It rhymes with spleen. It's purple. I think you get what I'm saying here, okay? You can tell by the title. And this guy just goes, hey, Gramps, you want a sip? And I was like, no way he's going to say yes to this. No way. And this old guy goes, what's in it? And he goes, a little cough syrup, a little Sprite. He goes, cough syrup, which kind? And he tells him. He goes, oh, I've had that prescribed to me before. I love that shit. Give me it. And this dude just starts sipping it out the cup. He starts sipping fucking lean. Now at this point, I'm getting concerned because this is somebody's dad. Like, this is not just some, like, random boomer that stumbled into our party. This is somebody's ride. This is somebody's, like, parent that they love. And I don't know about you guys, but I would not want to see my dad or mom or anyone that I'm related to, that I look up to, who raised me, be at a party, sipping lean, smoking blunts, and getting fucked up. Like, that's not good. Under any circumstance, that's not good. I don't want to see anyone I love doing that. So I spoke up, and I was like, hey, man, you said that you're Sam's dad. I don't really know Sam like that, but do you think he would, like, be upset if he saw you doing this stuff? And he goes, yeah, you're probably right. I was like, yeah, man, like, just lay off a little bit. And he goes, I can't believe this. A kid that's the same age as my son is telling me how to live my life, and he's right. And he comes over and he gives me a hug. A very awkward hug. Definitely weird. But I accepted it because he seemed genuine. Even though he's a little fucked up, he seemed genuine. And then while he's hugging me, all of a sudden, I look up, and it's none other than my friend, the birthday boy, the one that was hosting this whole party, running to the backyard, full speed out of the back door of the Airbnb to the fire pit where I was with this old guy and a bunch of other people. And he's yelling, everyone get the fuck out, disperse, cops are coming, everyone leave. And I'm like, oh shit. So I just turned around and I got the fuck out of there as fast as I possibly could. I just fast walked out of that bitch, found a sidewalk, and I walked on that sidewalk for about a mile or two until I was on one of the main roads. And I called an Uber, and I Ubered back to my apartment in LA, and it was all good. Now, the story time does not end there, okay? So fast forward to the next day. I woke up from a FaceTime from a random phone number, right? And I answer the FaceTime, which I usually don't. I don't usually answer FaceTime calls in general, especially from random numbers, but I answered it, and it's none other than this old dude from the party the night before. And I was like, how the hell did you get my number? He goes, I asked my son for it. He got it from one of your buddies and then gave it to me. And I'm just calling you to let you know we didn't get to end our conversation last night in the most peaceful manner. So I just want to call you and thank you. I was being a dumbass last night. I was being incredibly immature. And honestly, I think I was just acting out because I'm getting older and I feel like I don't fit in with my older friends. So I tend to just do stupid stuff. And last night was the most stupid. And even though I still think that hanging out at a party full of like young adults in your 50s is kind of weird, he didn't, flirt with any of the girls. He didn't do anything inherently creepy. So I kind of understood what he was saying a little bit. And I was like, dude, it's all good. I'm always here for you. I appreciate you. Much love, man. He's like, yeah, much love. I'm here for you too if you ever need anything. And then we hung up. And I laid down and I thought, wow, just when I thought this story couldn't unfold anymore, it did. Keep in mind, I wasn't even really friends with this guy's son. I knew of Sam, the son of this dad, but we weren't really cool like that. And now I'm like friends with his dad in LA. It was so weird, right? Like I would see him occasionally at the grocery store, this guy, and he'd be like, hey Austin, how you doing? And I was like, good. And in my mind, all I could think of was this old man just sipping lean. But yeah, it's always a fun story to tell that one to my friends, and they always laugh and get a kick out of it. So I thought, why not tell this little story time for you guys? So yeah, that is the story of how I witnessed an old man at a party in LA sip lean and get messed up and then almost get caught by the cops. I forgot to say that, by the way. Me, him, and like everyone that I was friends with kind of just left the party before the cops got there. When they did get there, my friend that was hosting the party just kind of talked to him. They went away. It was basically just a noise complaint, and once the noise was brought down to a minimum level, they went away. We probably could have went back to the party that night, but I was kind of over it after all the random events that unfolded. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I thought it was just kind of a funny little story I wanted to tell from my LA days, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.
I be fully loaded, I be whipping foreign cars. Always stay devoted, mama knew I'd be a star.